Hi, I'm Professor Beck Strah.
And I'm Professor Eric Bronson, and this is Prison Breakdown.
2, 3, break!
Hate to spoil his fun, but we're gonna bust out of here.
2, 3, break!
I'm locked in here with you. You're locked in here with me.
2, 3, break!
I can honestly say I'm a changed man. No danger to society here. God's honest truth.
2, 3, break!
I'm not leaving this cell. I'll get out my way. The right way.
2, 3, break!
Ahoy, dudes! Welcome back to Prison Breakdown.
Yes.
I'm Beck Strah. I am joined by that sexy yes you heard.
Yeah.
Who is that?
Yes.
Who is that? Identify yourself, stranger.
Well, maybe today I'm going to go by Kid Dynamite. This is Eric Bronson. You will see Kid Dynamite. We're talking about Kid Dynamite today for our last episode of Jocktober.
Now, I don't know a Kid Dynamite.
Well, you're going to find out later in the show, so hold your pants.
Hold your pants. I'm impatient. Now, who's this friend of yours you brought along, Kid Dynamite?
Oh, yeah. Well, that could be the baddest man on the planet and producer Britt.
Oh, hello.
That didn't sound very bad to me.
Yeah.
Well, the baddest man doesn't need to talk.
Yeah.
Oh, that's true. The baddest man is just bad in deeds and actions, not voice.
Yeah.
True. Yeah.
Mild mannered bad man.
Speak softly and carry a big stick. That whole thing. You know.
Yeah. Boy, we are going back to the days of Michael Jackson saying, "I'm bad."
Yeah. Does bad mean good again?
I mean,
I don't know.
I think he might have been really bad. Let's be honest.
Yeah. For some reason, I do.
I think
too.
that was a confession. Yeah.
Was he warning us all along?
Yeah. I think that was a confession. That was.
Yeah, I don't think he was warning us. I think he was taunting us.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, he wasn't like making a song called like "I'm a pedophile," but it was. It was still.
He saved that for "You Rock My World" or whatever later on,
Yeah.
right? Like he saved that. Like little messages are hidden into the songs. Like you.
Oh yeah,
you should go through and do like a deep dive into the Michael Jackson.
Yeah, Rock My World
and find them all.
I think Rock My World wasn't the chorus like, "You rocked my world, you know you did. Yeah, I really wanna touch a kid." Something like that.
No. Hidden messages are more hidden than that, I think.
Yeah. He was slightly more subtle than that, right?
Yeah. As a society, I remember bringing up Michael Jackson's potential issues with pedophilia up with Britt at one point. Britt was like, "No, that's all nonsense." But I think as a society, we've come around to be like I think we're just in general agreement that he made good music, but he probably did some very bad things with children.
He at least did some very questionable things with children. He had relationships that were not healthy for adults to have with children.
Right.
Yeah.
But because of how damn powerful he was with all of his money, he never went anywhere that relates to our show.
No.
Never got locked up.
He did not. No. We were just talking about that before the.
Is Neverland Ranch really just a prison of its own?
Prison with an amusement park and everything that you could ever want in a property or a mall or
a monkey.
Yeah, basically living in a mall with an amusement park. Basically living in the Mall of America is what he was doing, which sounds like prison to me.
Macaulay Culkin and
Corey Feldman.
Yeah. I mean, he had a bunch, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. It's weird that his friends were kids when he was an adult. Like even the ones like them who he did not have any improper relations with, according to them. It's still weird to be an adult who hangs out with kids.
That's inappropriate, I'd say.
Yeah.
Unless that child is yours or like your child's friend or something like that.
Right.
But I would want my kid to be around if I'm hanging out with my child's friend.
Sure.
I'm still, just amazed by it wasn't a monkey, it was a chimpanzee that he had.
Thank you for correcting yourself. That's very
yeah. And I'm sorry, and I do believe his name was Bubbles.
Yeah, it was Bubbles.
Was it Bubbles?
Yeah.
So
because there was the old joke about blowing bubbles.
Yes. Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Tell me the joke.
Knock knock. No, you want to hear a dirty joke?
No, we're not that kind of podcast, Eric.
Pig fell in the mud. Want to hear a clean joke?
Oh God. No.
Took a bath.
No.
Took a bath.
Another dirty joke. It took another clean joke.
Neither of those are jokes, Eric.
Yeah, and then the last one was, want to hear another dirty joke? Bubbles was a pig next door.
Or Bubbles was Michael Jackson's chimpanzee.
Right. It's this chimp. It's this chimp bathing with the monkey or bathing with the pig. So
I'm more confused than anything on the punchline of this joke.
Somebody's getting this podcast way off. We need to get back to prison or something. I mean,
no. Let's talk. I'm curious. What do we know about Michael Jackson's kids? Like, they have to be like very maladjusted people by now.
Isn't one of them called like napkin or pillow or some shit like that, or blanket?
Is it the one who dangled off the balcony?
Blanket, I think. Yeah. There's blanket. There's like Prince.
Yeah.
He's got.
Those are individuals I feel bad for. There's nothing about them or their lives that's even comes close to normality.
I mean, they're well taken care of, which is nice. But yeah,
true.
Prince, Paris, and BG, and BG's former name is Blanket.
BG, okay.
BG.
Yes.
So
like
blanket what?
Blanket
or is
Jesus,
it the BG?
Blanket Jesus. It's.
You think it's short for Blanket Jesus?
Yeah. Jesus with a G.
Good Jesus.
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 Okay. All right. Shall we move on to some news?
Yeah,
you got any news for
Give the people what they want.
Fresh news, hot off the razor wire.
So, I was thinking about this earlier. I would love to eventually do an episode where we catch up with some of our favorites that we've talked about. And wouldn't you know it, one of our favorites is in the news again.
Yes.
Now, Eric, Britt, do you two remember a man named Burl Cain?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
So Burl Cain, if you recall, in 2020, he left the Louisiana Department of Corrections, and he is the commissioner of the Mississippi Department of Corrections now.
Traitor.
And the Mississippi Department of Corrections, this might surprise you, they've had some issues. And since 2015, they have had nearly 50 prison deaths in custody. Yeah, that are ruled homicide. So 43 people died by homicide in Mississippi prison since 2015.
Wow. What the hell is going on down there?
That's wild.
Yeah, right. So that's exactly the question. So he's only been there since 2020. And he said, hey, maybe we should reopen some of these cases. We should investigate these to their fullest, because to date of the 43 homicides, there's only been 8 murder convictions. And there were 2. 2 of those were guilty pleas. That leaves a lot of unsolved mysteries from all these individuals. I have doubts that it's ever going to like get back to like the level of Burl Cain, especially because he's the one opening these investigations.
Right.
But it is good to know that they're at least being investigated. Like of the 43, there's 21. In addition to the 43, there's another 21 prisoner deaths that are ruled undetermined by the medical examiner's office. So they might have been accidental deaths. They might have been homicides. They're not sure. There's also some staffing issues in Mississippi DOC. It's something around like 30% of the funded correctional officer positions are currently vacant as of like a week ago. And since Cain took over the Mississippi Department of Corrections in 2020, they did get about a $13,000 raise, meaning that they're making about corrections officers there are making about $40,000 now in present day money, which is still not a lot of money for a hazardous job like that.
That's big money for them in Mississippi.
It is big money for them. So he's trying to come at it from this angle of like, oh, look at how much I've this is my impression of him. Look at how much I've improved our department. I like to think of him as like a good old time Southern gentleman. And I was looking at his profile as commissioner in the Mississippi Department of Corrections. He likes to take credit for a lot of stuff, even stuff he didn't touch, like the documentaries, The Farm, Angola, USA, and its follow-up. He has those mentioned in his bio for like these award-winning documentaries that were filmed at the prison he oversaw.
And him the Oscar.
He had barely anything to do with these. Yeah, exactly. And like these books that are attributed to him when he's like adjacent to them, or they talk about him. And he likes to talk about how he's got this progressive ideal that he brings into the prisons when it's like church school stuff that he's trying to get taught in the prisons.
Not only that, it's his own brand of Christianity.
Yeah. So he's up to his same tricks. He's like, the dude hasn't changed at all. He's still his number one fan. He is still constantly self-promoting, but he has launched an investigation into these many deaths in the Mississippi Department of Corrections. And I guess that's a good start. 43 deaths in the Mississippi Department of Corrections that are ruled homicides, many of them unsolved. Go get it, Mississippi.
Well, looking at I'm sure we know their incarceration rate is through the roof. It's one of the highest. Mm-hmm. And even with that, nobody lives in Mississippi, right? It's got a small population for a state. It's under 3 million. And so we're talking about, we're just talking about the Department of Corrections. We're looking at probably around 20,000 people, and you got 43 deaths. That homicides. What the hell is going on? That
since December 2021, the population actually has increased from 16,800 to 19,300. So you're right, it's nearly 20,000 people.
Yeah, that's just way too many. I know their incarceration rate is I think they're trying to catch Louisiana, but it's just that's nuts. They need to figure out what the hell's going on down there.
Now, as someone who has never set foot in Mississippi, I don't quite understand the idea of Mississippi. Like, I don't understand, like, people don't like intentionally visit Mississippi. They need like a good PR person.
They got Biloxi. They got Biloxi. That's a nice southern city.
Is it? Okay, I believe you.
So yeah, it's I tell you this. I've been through there several times. I've stayed there a few times overnight and gone along the Gulf Coast. Obviously, there it's that state's struggling. It's the folks who live there. They've got it tough. Them, Alabama, Louisiana. They're all in the same boat. Lots of poverty. Really poor education, terrible health care. So why don't we just lock people up?
Well, the problem with that though too is they don't have enough COs to oversee the people.
Right. They don't. And then, we know that we know that a lot of the population isn't qualified to work inside these institutions either. So it's they're just in a tough spot. So I don't know. It's if you look at like I said, they do have some nice cities, but they also have plenty of crime. And so
it's a state that's like not known for its like social safety nets or public welfare or schools or anything really. Yep. Mississippi is more of like to the New England states. It always feels like it's sold to us as like a warning story. So Mississippi, This is you getting your act together.
Yeah. Now, my wonderful niece Abby Kukai, she got her PhD down there at Mississippi State. She's a bulldog in psychology. So there are some shiny things down there.
She's a bulldog in psychology.
She's a bulldog in psychology.
She's a bulldog in psychology. Interesting. I didn't know that was a title you could earn.
It takes a lot. You really have to. It's a self-transformation.
Doctor of bulldogology. Yeah. It's where you learn to, have an underbite.
Now, I'm curious, Eric, you mentioned last week that you had a news story that you wanted to share, but you thought it was a developing news story, better say, for this week.
So that was what I was relating it to, was the executions and where we're at in terms of executions this year.
Oh, we're already up there. Like we're
at 40
the last few years entirely.
So we've had 40 executions this year in the United States. And one of the things that is interesting is just that we've slipped back dramatically into our methods by which we execute people. Before, for years, all that we would see for the method in terms of execution was consistently using lethal injections over and over and over. The last execution was in Alabama, used a gas chamber. And back in September, Alabama used a gas chamber. In June, Alabama used a gas chamber. So we have that, and we're also seeing South Carolina using the firing squad. So, we've seen several different states manipulating how they're doing it. I believe Louisiana, let me see. Yeah, Louisiana in March used a gas chamber, which is rather unique rather than them using lethal injection. And just a couple weeks before that execution back in March, South Carolina used a firing squad again. So it's what we're really looking at is a dramatic shift in how we're executing people. And, we're seeing the United States being much more accepting, or at least the states that are executing people, much more accepting about how we're killing people. And that, we used to really look at the eighth Amendment to the Constitution, looking at how things in terms of punishment in our country cannot be cruel and unusual. Well, who the hell, determined whether or not something was cruel and unusual? Were the people that observed it. And so,
totally.
It makes me wonder what's going on with these executions. And I think when we're going to do that next episode of executions, we'll get into that in great detail about the spectacle that takes place during an execution and who's allowed to see it and why we've changed. And then all of a sudden we're having a dramatic shift back to gas and the death and firing squad. And again, a few years ago, that's pretty cruel and unusual. So we'll find this other way where it looks like the person falls asleep. That's easier to take for the witnesses.
Totally. And it's interesting to see this, especially with public polling. I believe last year we saw the lowest acceptance of the death penalty, since like the 1970s, where it was something like 47% of people are against the death penalty, and it was only like 51% of people for the death penalty, with some small margin of error, like 3 or 4 points. But we haven't seen this level of pushback against the death penalty in years. But it is a small handful of states that are like really leading the way in using the death penalty right now. Right. So, like you were saying with Alabama, how many executions of the 40 this year have been in Alabama alone?
Let's see, 1, 2.
Oh, this is good podcasting.
3. It is 4.
This is the counting podcast.
5. And guess what's next, middle schoolers?
6,
7. No, we did not get.
Oh, he did
it. He said it.
Yeah, no, there's 5 in Alabama. So, but again, they're not using lethal injection at all. That's what's interesting. So.
That is. And I wonder if it's also like they know that the Supreme Court is weak enough that if anyone tries to challenge it, they're going to get it their way, where it opens the door to using it in more states.
Right. So,
not a great thing, not a good thing, not even an okay thing.
Right.
Perhaps a bad thing.
Yeah.
That's the word I was looking for.
There you go. That's bad. You're welcome.
Ungood. Yes.
Ungood.
Now, I think that's all the news that we can use. And I think it's time for news that we can lose.
Oh,
Eric.
I think it's time to give a shout out to our lovely sponsor.
Who's that?
That would be
let's
Roger Williams University School of Justice Studies.
Yes.
I love the drama in your voice. Yeah.
It's he's teasing us with it there. And the Roger Williams University School of Justice Studies with degrees in criminal justice, sociology, anthropology, legal studies, forensic science, international relations, political science. Man, they've got it all. Oh, and don't forget about graduate degrees and leadership.
Never forget.
Public admin and criminal justice.
Did you say leadership is back?
I think it is, isn't it? I know we still have students still in the program.
Britt, give us some echo on that.
Leadership.
Just like the world's deepest canyon.
That is.
We're still hearing that echo.
They're still falling.
They yelled leadership as they fell.
Yeah,
great impression of falling guy. Yeah. All right. Thank you, Roger Williams University School of Justice Studies, and that falling guy into the canyon of leadership.
Never forget. We'll remember you. You'll be remembered, falling guy. We appreciate you.
Yes. Thank you, Roger Williams University School of Justice Studies. Let's move on to the main event. Producer Britt, hit us with that track.
Jocktober for this.
Jocktober, 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 Jocktober,
Jocktober. Producer's note. This is technically Jockvember at this point, but we recorded this in Jocktober. So deal with it.
Yeah, and if you don't like it, keep listening anyway.
Yeah.
That's not something to get hung on up on and not listen to us.
No, chill out, listener.
Yeah,
chill out. Just don't hit pause. Don't put your phone back down. Enjoy the cast.
Thank you. Eric, take us there. We're talking Kid Dynamite today, baby.
Kid Dynamite. Not just Kid Dynamite. We're talking the baddest man on the planet. Or what most people, definitely not me, what most people know him by is Iron Mike. That's right. Iron Mike Tyson.
Oh, he's a man who's like Michael Jackson bad, right?
Oh, he is Michael Jackson bad. Mm-hmm. But bad as in bad, not bad as in good.
Okay.
Right.
All right.
Right. Okay. So let's begin. Michael Gerard Tyson was born 1930, 1966. And he was a professional boxer who competed for the most part in the 80s and 90s and a little bit in the 2000s. And then for some silly reason, getting paid, decided to box YouTuber Jake Paul in 2024. So he's still, if you look at his professional record, it stretches from 85 to 2024, even though he didn't really box then. Wow, 4
years.
Yeah, that's a long time. He's considered
punched
one of the greatest heavyweights of all time by many boxing experts. And he reigned as the undisputed world heavyweight champion from 1987 to 1990. He won his first 19 professional fights by knockout, 12 of those in the first round. So that very short fights. It is very clear that he was great at knocking people out with one punch. He claimed his first championship title at the age of 20 years, 4 months, and 22 days. And he holds the record for being the youngest boxer ever to win a heavyweight title.
Mm-hmm. That's impressive. So, let's go back to this whole, like, he was undisputed. So for 4 years, like, nobody challenged him at all. Nobody even like looked at him funny.
And he had every belt. Yep.
Was he as good as the belt would suggest, or was he just like scary and intimidating enough as a boxer that people didn't want to tussle with him?
Well, part of, the undisputed part meant he had these 3 belts. It was the World Boxing Association's belt, and so the World Boxing Council, and the International Boxing Federation's belt, all at one time. And so those were the 3 titles he held. And everybody he fought during those years, he was, for the most part, very successful at beating them, knocking them out.
Yeah.
So I think, during this time, it was seen as, well, he is, the one of his nicknames, the baddest man on the planet. So people revered him for his boxing, mainly because of as we were just talking about with the death penalty, mainly for the spectacle that went along with it. And it truly was a spectacle. I do remember watching fights on pay-per-view that he was part of, and those fights were, very well attended. A lot of people purchased the pay-per-view, and they were very well watched events. But just before we go further into his boxing career, which we'll get into, because it takes a quick turn and dramatically changes his life. But to first understand a little bit about him, he was born in Brooklyn, New York, to his parents Jimmy Kirkpatrick and Lorna Tyson. And when he was 2, his father said, "See you later," and abandoned the family. And so what happened was Lorna was left to care for Michael and his siblings, Rodney and Denise. But obviously they struggled financially, and they moved to a neighborhood in Brooklyn called Brownsville, which was a very high crime part of Brooklyn. And this is kind of a precursor for what the hell was going on in Tyson's life. At first, he was pretty small. He's still, he's not a very tall guy, but
how tall are we talking?
Is he 5'10"?
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So not huge, and especially when you compare him to most heavyweights who are over 6 foot. People towered over him, but he was a little kid, and he was rather shy. But he became the target of bullying when he was a kid, because he had a speech impediment, which, if anybody's heard him talk, it's carried on throughout most of his life. It's not something that he was able to really correct. But as a result of being bullied, he decided to develop his own kind of style of street fighting, which led him into his own life of crime, and some of those being violent crimes. He
wait, roll it back. Like, he made his oown karate, is what you're saying?
It was street fight. It was more street. I don't think it was really. Let's not give it a martial arts title. It was. I think it was really kind of, he tried to control chaos, because I'm sure it was, it was more Tasmanian devil than anything you'd see in a mixed martial arts room or something like that.
No, just karate. No mixed martial arts, just karate. That's the one that matters, Eric.
So he had joined a gang when he was little, and this gang was known as the Jolly Stompers, and his job in the gang was he was supposed to clean out cash from cash registers while the older members held up people at gunpoint. And this was when he was 10, 11, 12 years old. He typically, it was, he didn't wait around. He got into it. So, he was robbing places, armed robbery, even if he wasn't holding a gun, but he would also get into other petty types of crime. But by the time he was 13 years old, he had been arrested over 30 times. And Jesus. As a result of all of this, of all of these arrests and convictions and plea deals, it sent him to his first real house of corrections, if we want to call it that, when he was sentenced to the Tryon School for Boys. It was a reform school in upstate New York, and Tryon is there have been articles written about it, and it's closed down now, but it was kind of infamous while it was up and running. But one of the counselors he met was a amateur boxing champion, and this is one of those things that was kind of, hey, this is foreshadowing, because this counselor at the school is the one who introduced him to his very, very influential manager. But he saw that he could, this counselor, his name is Bob Stewart. He began to teach him how to use his own version of street fighting. He started to channel it into more of what we would consider boxing, and showed him how to better use his fists. And this really came from Tyson once he found out that Stewart was an amateur champ. So he approached him and said, hey, I would really like to know how to do this a little bit better. And Stewart agreed to do this with him for two things. he had to start trying at school. It was pretty clear he didn't really care much about academics. He was not doing well. Student. Okay. Right. Yeah. You imagine, right? He was not doing well at school. And then the other thing, he had to stay out of trouble. And what that really came down to is keep out of fights, stop stealing, do what you're supposed to do here. So
do your homework, take your vitamins, don't do drugs, right. that kind of thing.
Right. So part of the bullying that went along during his childhood is he was classified as being learning disabled, and he, with his lack of attentiveness at school, he was not a good reader, and then with the speech impediment that he lives with, it really made him look like he did have some severe learning disabilities. But during this, while he was at the Tryon school, he was able to get his act together and start improving his reading abilities. This was a dramatic change in his life, and he became really determined that he needed to start raising his boxing IQ and learning how to do it properly. And what he was doing then was slipping outside of his dorm, kinda. Or his cell, whatever we want to call it. But it was really his dorm. He would slip outside after curfew, and he would just practice shadow boxing, even though there was no shadow because it was dark out. But yeah, that was really, he kind of, this reform school really kind of turned him around, and this is what gave him the avenue to become a boxer.
Now, this is like essentially youth prison that he's in at this time, but we know that he's going to prison again later. So does he actually get it turned around?
Well, so he at least gets his life on a path to something that was not going to be a career criminal in terms of that's all he was doing.
He's like found a way to channel his aggression and any kind of malice that he had and like turn it toward a profession in the ring.
And this really becomes as a result of, as I mentioned, Stewart introducing him to his manager, and that was Cuz D'Amato, or Constantine D'Amato, who had a gym in Catskill, New York. And this was the place where D'Amato took him under his wing, and you could say he became the father figure that he didn't have, and took him and started to teach him how to be a really, really strong boxer. And it's very well documented that this relationship that they had between them wasn't simply just boxer and trainer, that it really was very much like a father and son. This was after Tyson turned 15 and was essentially paroled from Tryon, the Tryon school, in September of 1980. And so what happened after that is D'Amato took him not only under his wing, but he also took full custody of him. So he went to Catskills High School during the day, and he started training to boxing in the evening, and that's where things started to really kind of take off for him, and things seemed to be going in the right direction, at least in terms of boxing career. He started entering amateur boxing matches and events, and he did very well in those. Same kind of what you expected from him, a lot of quick knockouts because he was such a powerful puncher. He did very well. But in 1982, when things started to seem like they were going in the right direction, his mother passed away, and Tyson was quoted as saying, "I've never seen her happy, I've never seen her happy with me or proud of anything I've ever done." So you could tell he was not in a good spot about his relationship with his mom.
Totally.
And
devastating blow.
Yeah.
Still, you're losing your mom.
Right. Yeah. So, it's something that, obviously affected him. And after this, he was then expelled from Catskills High School for violent behavior. So as much as the boxing became something that was positive for him, that we say, hey, this should be an outlet, he was still trending in that direction of being a violent individual. He was still obviously, participating in a criminal lifestyle in the 80s. And
is he still with the gang? Is he done?
No, he's done with the gang because he's over in the Catskill area, and he was able to continue his education after he was expelled because he was training for the Olympics in 1984, and young Olympians and people who are training for Olympians have private tutors, and so he was able to do that. It's that worked well for him, although he did not make the Olympic team then, and he lost to an individual who eventually was the gold medalist in the 1984 Olympics. But he felt like, obviously, his mother dying and him not making the Olympics, he along with D'Amato decided, hey, let's go into this boxing world. And on March 6, 1985, he made his professional debut. and knocked out his opponent named Hector Mercedes and in the first round. And this is where the nickname Iron Mike came from. So he starts off on his career and he's, things start to take off. So, you can just imagine he has all of this pent up aggression, anger, loss in his life. And the one thing that he's really, really good at is knocking people out. So
he's got so many nicknames. If he's Kid Dynamite, the baddest man alive, Iron Mike, he has mastered like the PR angle, or he's got somebody behind him who has.
Oh yeah, no, and so there were a lot of these that were given to him by other people. Yeah, but it's they are well earned. But he goes through the 80s and excuse me, the fights are going fine. He's doing really well. He was as we mentioned, he was the undisputed heavyweight champion and taking on all these individuals and knocking them out. And then all of a sudden, reality kind of starts setting in, and we have somebody come along that that ends up kind of shocking him. And in 1990, individual heavyweight by the name of James Buster Douglas comes along, and James Buster Douglas does not look like he's going to last a few minutes with Mike Tyson, because Mike Tyson looks like that nickname Iron Mike. He looks like a piece of steel.
Dude is in his prime, especially. He's so jacked. He's physically imposing. Did he already have like the distinctive face tattoo at that point?
No, that came later. That came later. I think if we're good podcasters, I think all three of us should go and get those after we're done with this episode.
Just in solidarity with Mike Tyson.
With Iron Mike, yeah. But James Buster Douglas was from Columbus, Ohio.
Where's that? Where's Ohio. Official state of the podcast.
In this fight on February 11, 1990, he lost the undisputed championship to Douglas in Tokyo. Tyson was a massive favorite in Vegas in the betting world, and the only casino that was really looking at this as putting out odds was the Mirage, and they made the odds 42-1. So they knew Tyson was gonna win, but Tyson couldn't get past James Buster Douglas's quick jab, and he had a significant reach advantage over Mike Tyson. And finally, in the eighth round, he knocked him down, and Tyson knocked down Douglas, but later in the next two rounds, he was just out of steam, and Douglas was able to knock him out in the 10th round. And it really, it really changed the way things went right after that, because Tyson wasn't able to get up, and he was counted out. And, up till that, he had been undefeated and was known as the baddest man alive up until that point. Now, during this time period, Tyson's life was in a bit of disarray.
Tell me about it.
Yeah, there was a lot of things going on, and there were people starting to question who he was fighting, because there was another boxer who was coming up from the cruiserweight division named Evander Holyfield, who looked just as ripped as Mike Tyson and was clearly a very gifted boxer. He wasn't just a knockout artist. So everybody wanted to see them fight each other. But during that time, we start to see not just issues related to, criminal mischief or, just simple crimes. We start to hear rumors in public about horrible things that are going on in Tyson's life. And it's, it seems to be something that really, took his concentration away from boxing. But what the biggest events were, first off, is in 1991, Tyson was arrested for the rape of 18-year-old Desiree Washington in the Canterbury Hotel in Indianapolis, Indiana. And she had been previously crowned the local star, the Miss Black Rhode Island in 1990. Wow. And as a result, she was a contestant in the Miss Black America pageant. And so Tyson visited Miss Black America pageant, and this is where he met Desiree Washington. And during the rehearsals that were being held in Indianapolis, this is where he came into contact with her, and they went to the hotel. Tyson was then charged with 1 count of rape, 2 counts of criminal deviant conduct, and 1 count of criminal confinement. So similar to kidnapping or holding an individual against their will. Charges for this, if convicted for all of them, would have landed him 63 years in the slammer. Obviously, he didn't end up doing that because he'd still be locked up now. But that's where things started off. The trial was held in Marion County Superior Court, and it lasted from January 26th to February 10th in 1992. And it was similar to, it was, I guess you could call it a precursor to the O.J. Simpson trial, because it was very well, very well attended.
Publicized.
Yeah.
Did you remember it from when you were a kid?
Absolutely, because this was when I was a senior in high school. Yeah, so this was something that was very much in the news, and it was during the leading up to the trial. There were updates about what was going on, and there were also updates about the trial itself. Now, obviously, this did not last anywhere near as long as the O.J. Simpson or Karen Reed trials, those types of things. But it was something that definitely was in popular culture. And so during the trial, Washington stated that he had called her around 1:45 in the morning to supposedly tour the city, and then picked her up in his limo, took her back to his room, and made small talk as they were hanging out, and then propositioned her for sex, and that she stated that she refused and went to use the restroom right before leaving. And then after using the restroom, she said she noticed some discharge on her panty shield, and Washington said she removed the liner and threw it away. When she came out, Tyson then pulled her into the bed, pinned her down, and raped her. She testified, "He was mean, evil," she said, "and I got on top and started to try and get away, but he slammed me down." And so you can imagine how easily it was for her, a man who's at the top of his game in a combat sport, how easy it is for him to throw someone of her stature around.
Yeah.
And control her,
Yeah. And so, like, seems like the evidence was on her side, and you said he was looking at 60 years in this trial. So like, We know the outcome, but tell the audience, like, what's the outcome, and how much time did old Iron Mike get behind the iron bars?
Behind the iron bars. Well, the other thing to keep in mind is one of the fun things in terms of pop culture. Iron Mike did hire the Iron Lawyer, Alan Dershowitz.
Oh, he's connected to everything in history. God,
yeah,
Alan Dershowitz can't help himself. He sucks.
Yeah. So it's important to understand. So, later on, he hired him later, but this is important. The in terms of the case, Washington, the Washington had suffered 2 small vaginal abrasions, consistent with 20 to 30% of injuries seen in sexual assault cases, and that was presented at the trial, and that approximately over a 20-year period, supposedly, do they ever see that? That's something that they typically see in rape cases and sexual assault cases. It's not something that ever occurs in, consensual sex. So based off of that, we're going to see that Mike Tyson is going to receive a 6-year sentence as a result of all of this, overwhelming evidence from experts. And it was clear that, he was being favored a little bit because of what his status was in society, and how long he was actually going to do some time inside the institution. But so in terms of the trial, he was found guilty on 1 count of rape, 2 counts of deviant sexual conduct. So because of the Indiana state laws, Tyson was ordered to serve 6 years in prison, effective immediately. There was no ability for him to try and walk away and say, hey, I'll report on this date, because people had said there were other states where, if with that conviction, he could have stayed out in society for a little bit, maybe gotten another fight and worked on appeals, but he had to immediately go to prison. So
let me ask though, it sounds like power protecting power, right? Like,
absolutely.
Like you said, he's looking at, was it 40 years, 60 years initially?
60 years.
60 years. And he got 1/10 of that sentence.
Right.
And was he looking at like a litany of other charges on top, like obstructing justice and other things that like he was not convicted of? Or it was just this charge and he gets convicted and the judge goes, oh, well, don't do it again. And they shake a finger at the defendant.
Right. That's pretty much what, that was it. I was shocked that was all he got, was just the 6 years. But,
yeah. And I'm not for harsh prison sentences, but if somebody else would have received that same sentence for that same crime, and Mike Tyson is Mike Tyson, so he doesn't get it, that's
right.
Pathetic.
Now, the one thing to keep in mind is that part of that, though, is he does have to register as a sex offender for life.
And not that it's affected him. It's like,
no, not at all. Don't jump the gun. Damn it.
All right. Sorry, I can't help myself.
It is. So if you go look up on Indiana's sex offender page, you will find Mike Tyson's information there. But if you look in other states and look up their sex offender registry, so like Nevada, look up theirs. He pops up on theirs as well as a sex offender. So Mike Tyson, when he is taken into custody, he initially goes to the assessment center in Indiana, and then they send him to a place that it was very interesting, and this caused a lot of controversy because originally this institution was called the Indiana Youth Center near Plainfield, but it is officially known as the Plainfield Correctional Institution. So they had changed the name, or excuse me, Plainfield Correctional Facility. That's the official name. So it originally started off as a juvenile institution, and when they didn't have the bodies and they had a greater need for adults, they switched the name. But while Tyson was incarcerated there at the beginning, things didn't start off all that well.
Tell me more.
He first off was found guilty of threatening a guard, and that added 15 days to his sentence.
No, not 15 days.
Yeah, a whole 15 days.
Something that will be wiped out with like 2 months of good time.
Right. He also got into a fight when somebody tried to attack him. Why somebody would try to? Yeah, exactly. Why in the hell would you attack Mike Tyson?
Status for even having the balls to attack Mike Tyson.
Right. And I think that was a lot of it is that, somebody probably, I'm sure you've seen this before where they put someone up to doing it. What? Wouldn't you guess? I mean,
yeah, this guy is just like expecting to not have teeth anymore, and so he doesn't even want teeth anymore. So he's like, yeah, choose me, it's fine. It would suck to be that guy. I'm sure there's nothing in it for them besides status. There's no tangible benefit to. Hey, I tried to fight Mike Tyson in prison.
I mean, if you need free dental work, I guess. Like,
yeah, that's right. I've already got like a messed up teeth anyway, and just like, hey, give me some dentures, or I don't think you're getting like the best of dental work in prison, but it is dental work. Yeah. If I've got a dead tooth that I need pulled, Iron Mike.
Well, it's that would be a fun story. Right, to be able to, hey, I lost this, but so somebody attacked him with a shank supposedly, and obviously he was able to defend himself pretty well, and that kind of ended it. But as a result of that fight, it's pretty much, as it's kind of the schools have learned from the prisons. It's zero tolerance. And so he went to solitary confinement, and solitary confinement suited him well. And he spent more than half of his days in Plainfield Institution in solitary confinement, and he liked it there. People didn't mess with him.
Kind of cat, if that's the case.
Yeah, and that's it's one of those things. Thinking about that, we're social beings. We need to interact with others, and for someone to say, "Hey, this is how I want to spend my time," that's pretty damn unique. But it suited him, I guess. He was able to continue with his workouts in a cell that he would do. He spent a lot of time meditating, and one of the biggest things is that Mike Tyson converted from Christianity to Islam, and this was while in the institution, this was a major turning point in his life, supposedly. And he said that big influence obviously was Cassius Clay converting to Islam, becoming Muhammad Ali. So it this is one of those situations where you're like, hey, this is going to change my life. It's going to change dramatically how I treat other people. He adopted the Muslim name Malik Abdul Aziz. Obviously,
you got a Muslim name out of this, but I don't think that stuck.
Right. Well, I think the name was about as important to him as the pillars of Islam, where they talk about everything being at peace and structure. Right. He's still quite he's still I don't know that really changed him all that much, but after prison, once he served out his time, he of course was interviewed over and over and over, and anybody who can get their hands on him wants to talk to him, and he made some controversial statements regarding Jesus, and he got a little bit of trouble with Christians, and he made statements suggesting having respect for Jesus, but he thinks Jesus would have a drink, and that, of course, set people off.
Oh God! Hey, you can't talk about like the idea that you have for modern day Jesus. Not even BG blanket Jesus.
Yeah. So, anyway, so he ended up spending most of his time in solitary confinement, as I mentioned, and as a result of doing that, he was able to, adopt this new religion and his new name, and he was able to show that he was a changed person, and therefore, after 3 years of his sentence, he was released from the Indiana Youth Center, as it was called, or the Plainfield Correctional Facility.
Thank you. That's
and yeah, exactly. And he had 4 years of probation then. That was what was left after that. So again, for this awful rape of this poor woman, again, she was 18. So he did 3 years, just over 3 years, got 4 years probation. And the only impact now is that he has to register as a sex offender.
Oh, this poor victim too, nationally publicized case, like being put on the stand, having to go through all this again, and being like forever tied to his name in history. Nobody wants that.
Right. So, as I mentioned, Alan Dershowitz. So during this, well,
let's call him Dersh to be cool.
Dersh. So AD filed an appeal using error of law in the court's exclusion of evidence of the victim's past sexual conduct. What a monster. The exclusion of 3 potential defense witnesses and the lack of jury instructions on honest and reasonable mistakes of fact. So luckily, the Indiana Court of Appeals ruled against him in a 2-1 vote. So this, of course, then got pushed up. The Indiana Supreme Court let the lower court opinion stand due to a 2-2 split in review. So it was something that he was closer to getting everything thrown out than anybody could imagine, because these courts went ahead and they listened to his appeals, and they were like, oh yeah, well, he's got a good point. It's funny because no other rapist has the judges saying, oh yeah, that's a good point. But yeah, so as I mentioned, he did his 3 years. He left prison. He left with prison tattoos. All right. And yep. And his newfound religion. And he to this day, Tyson is required to register as a Tier 2 sex offender under federal law, but has continued to maintain his innocence. In 1992, Erin Cosby, the daughter of comedian and actor Bill Cosby, publicly accused Tyson of sexually assaulting her in 1989. No charges were ever sought. There's some irony, right?
Yeah. There's like I'm not even gonna touch that. Like we've already got Mike Tyson enough to focus on, and then her dad being a monster in himself.
Right. Which I would love to.
His daughter.
Well, I would love to get her opinion. Hey, what do you think of your dad with all of these accusations that have come to him?
And she's like faultless in this whole thing too, right? Like she's a victim, and instead it's just around her and something that happened to her. That's horrendous.
Yeah. No, it's awful, but so just real quick, Tyson didn't get his face tattoo in prison, so a lot of people are confused about that. But he was right before his fight in 2003, which would be his last I'm sorry. I know this whole thing with Jake Paul or whatever. It was his last victory, and it was his 50th victory. So, he said that, if I would get a face tattoo when he beats Lennox Lewis, but he wanted supposedly hearts just because he thought the hearts were cool. But then the artist refused to put hearts, and he worked on this new design and proposed this tribal design, and Tyson loved it, and he said, yeah, let's do it. So it's, people wonder about, what the meaning is. It has to do with being part of a warrior tribe.
Oh, because it's a tribal tattoo on his face.
Yep.
Okay.
Yeah. So,
I've always thought it was like kind of just lame and dorky to it. I don't know. The whole thing. I never got it. Mike Tyson, if you, as we know, he's a loyal listener. Don't contact me.
So here's one of the things that I think that we spend time talking about his boxing career and his criminal career, life in prison a little bit, and it was just 3 years, and then he got out. And
did he box it all in prison? Was there any opportunity for that? No,
he did not.
I don't think so.
So I don't think I'd have to look up Indiana's recreation. I don't think Indiana has boxing as an option for recreation. Louisiana does, we know that. But so in terms of some of the other things about it, he's had 3 wives. He has 7 children, and he's also provided us with a whole lot of fun quotes. And you can look up Mike Tyson quotes. They are all over the place. And of course, you've got to understand that they are only as beautiful as they are when he says them in that amazing voice that he has. But when he says something like, when you see me smash somebody's skull, you enjoy it. Okay.
Eric, would you say that in your best Mike Tyson impression, please?
I don't have a Mike Tyson impression. I'm not an impressionist, at least not of Mike Tyson. Yeah, and then after they called me a rapist and a recluse. I'm not a recluse. That's one of his quotes.
You're giving the audience what they want, baby.
But I think that the all-time greatest Mike Tyson quote came from a time when an interviewer was talking to him, post-fight, and he asked him, "Hey, Mike, is this the shortest fight ever?" And he talks about bearing witness to one God, Muhammad, and blessing, peace upon him, and all of this fun stuff. And then is this your shortest fight ever, or any time, amateur, professional? Like, you didn't answer my damn question. I don't know, man. Yeah. Lennox Lewis, I'm coming for you. And then, I trained probably 2 or 3 weeks, all kinds of fun stuff. And that's when Mike Tyson starts to get a little bit fun, because he says, and I want to dedicate this fight. I was going to fight. I dedicate this fight to him. I was going to rip his heart out because I'm the best ever. But he goes on to get really, really kind of, I guess you could say, he was getting ready. He was getting in a state where he was getting ready to rage, because he then says, "I want to eat his children."
Yeah. Yeah. I've heard that one. That's a good one. That's one of my favorite ones.
He's like, "I want to eat his children." I mean, he told Lennon, "I want to eat your children." I want your heart. I want to eat his children.
Yeah.
So
it's fun.
I mean, he was always throwing things out there like that, where that were simply just outrageous one or two liners, and you could just tell that he wasn't, he didn't have the cognitive ability to think through what the hell was about to pour out of his mouth.
No. He's like trying to be a deep thinker here, and he's trying to like he's enhancing the sport by giving it like a sense of drama, which I like. But it's like if you were like a dumb drama nerd, like taking that mindset and like implanting that in Mike Tyson, that's like as good as we're getting, like the computing power. So he's bringing us a sense of like theater.
Right.
But it's not good theater.
No, it's not. But, and it, it's funny because with all these criminal charges, with how horrible, things went in terms of the rape, and then him having to do time. It's really quite interesting. You think you'd say, oh, we've seen the downfall of Mike Tyson, and then he's able to come back. But, for an example, in 1998, there was a road rage assault. So another big outburst. Tyson assaulted two motorists after a car accident in Maryland dented his Mercedes. He pleaded no contest to second-degree assault for the attack. The judge sentenced Come on. The judge sentenced Tyson to 2 concurrent 2-year sentences. But
there's a large but here.
But, yeah, that's a large but. He was given only 1 year of jail time, a $5,000 fine, and 200 hours of community service. He was released after serving 9 months. So, in jail. So, if you think he did not go to prison, but clearly second-degree assault, you figure, hey, he already has a violent past. Why is he only getting a year? And then getting out after 9 months.
Also, second-degree assault is like that's like a serious assault where like potentially like breaking bones and stuff like that.
Yeah,
and then also he's the kind of guy who's like a trained fighter, and he is a dangerous instrument with his skills.
Well, yeah, you figure if he, that's assault with a deadly weapon, right?
Right. Oh, I wonder if he had to like register his fists as weapons at the local sheriff's office.
Yeah.
I don't think that thing is true. Like I remember hearing about that like from my dad when I was a kid about how like skilled karate masters have to do this.
Right.
Britt, do you think it's true? Okay, give us a drop of realism here.
No. All the karate masters have no idea what they're doing.
You take that.
Like MMA has like proven that. Come on.
Right.
I refute that. I stick with we stand with karate on the podcast here. That's the stance of this podcast.
Sure.
Oh, and then so throughout the 2000s, he's been busted many times with drugs, marijuana, cocaine, other drug paraphernalia, and in his car. He, as a result of, he spent 24 hours in jail and then got 3 years of probation and 360 hours of community service. Can you imagine Mike Tyson doing community service? What kind of community service do you think Mike Tyson does?
Oh, I bet he did like some PSA stuff. I bet he did like some work like that if anyone would take him, which there's got to be somebody out there who would. Picking up trash on the side of the road. And, I did community service once, like helping take old mattresses and like rehabilitating them, like pulling out springs and stuff, something like that, where like you can do it. It's like solitary confinement type work where you don't have to like talk to anybody or like even look around you. You just focused on pulling springs and taking this gross old mattress and putting aside parts so it can become a new mattress. I see him doing that.
Right. So.
Wait, what do you think he would have done? I don't know. There's no community service.
No, he's not washing buildings or police vehicles or fire trucks and any of that stuff that we make people do. And he's not painting over a graffiti. He's finding some PSAs or some crap like that. And then he had battles with alcoholism, and even in the early 2000s, he had to declare bankruptcy. But his good buddy 50 Cent helped him out by buying his house for about $4 million. So, and then everything changed for him, and society went stupid on us because in 2009 he had a memorable cameo in the hit comedy The Hangover, and all has been forgiven, hasn't it? Because everybody wants Mike Tyson on their shows, on news, newsreels, whatever the hell it might be. People can't get enough of him. And that started off, and when he did that and that movie went wild back in 2009, he has started a new life being a movie star / comedian almost. But just, people will pay him just to show up.
Yeah, it did something for his image rehabilitation. Does it say how much money he made off of this?
No, it does not.
It was a massive cameo. I believe he cameoed in the other 2 Hangover movies as well. This was also followed in 2014. I think there was a show called Mike Tyson Mysteries that was a cartoon following Mike Tyson and friends. It was a Scooby-Doo-esque cartoon, and it made him look funny and like sheepishly glorifies his brand. And it has done almost a 180 for his image, and maybe he's changed. It doesn't sound like he's changed a lot as an individual over time, with like just the constantly getting in trouble and being aggressive toward like another motorist.
Right. So I just found this. The Hangover, he received just over $100,000. Hangover Part 2, $200,000. And wasn't there a third one?
There was. It was. It was not a good one. I don't think anyone saw it.
$250,000. He's also been paid well into the 6 figures for appearing in Rocky Balboa, Entourage, and Mike Tyson Mysteries.
He pretty much just like shows up to public functions and like holds up a fist and takes photos with people at this point. I'm sure. Like I'm sure he's got quite a large speaker's fee or appearance fee. But he's a guy who is just around at this point, and he's part of this culture anymore. Like how we have celebrity for the sake of celebrity. He is. Right. He's that. I don't know if he's an influencer type, but he's a cultural oddity.
Yeah. But what's interesting to me, I think, and I'd love to hear from, if you talk to your students this week, our students know nothing about his criminal past. Very few of our students, you ask, hey, did you know Mike Tyson was in prison? Well, he was? For what? For being very bad.
Yeah. This is really something that has gotten swept under the rug in terms of his whole oeuvre, everything about him.
Yeah.
And did either of you watch the Tyson versus whichever Paul brother it was fight?
No.
Nor did I. But it was one of those things that was making headlines for like weeks in advance. Every time you turn on Netflix, it tells you like 5 days until the Tyson versus Paul fight. Like it was very heavily promoted. And I just don't care. I did not watch it. I don't understand the appeal of the Paul brothers either. That's another thing that I've somehow not picked up on. As a dad of teens, do you understand the appeal of the Paul brothers?
Well, Eric? No, it's luckily my boys aren't interested in either of the Paul brothers, so they've got other YouTubers that they're interested in. But that was a pretty big payday for Mike Tyson. He got paid $20 million for that fight. So wow. Jake Paul got $40 million. So, he had a pretty good payday for that.
Yeah, no kidding.
The power of YouTube, right?
The power of YouTube, the power of image rehabilitation. My real takeaway from all this is that Mike Tyson his legacy may not carry on any of his misdeeds, It would be nice if there was like an air of, oh, he's done stuff to make himself better in the meantime, but I don't know that he has.
Well, our whole goal with prisons is supposed to be corrections, right? Isn't that what we're supposed to be doing? That's why we call it corrections, even if though we're not really trying. But and big believer in second and third and fourth chances. It's just, I wonder if part of society's wacky obsession with him is also this obsession with, for folks right now with this disgusting alpha male type of crap that's going on out there about, I'm an alpha male. And so because he was, looked at as the baddest man on the planet, obviously that's pretty damn alpha male. And that's why they either don't want to know the truth or, don't care that he has that criminal history.
It's interesting as like a guy who was bullied and then became like more of the bully type. Like, I'm going to eat your children. That was not a good impression or really an impression at all. He comes across to me more like not an alpha male, but the guy who tries to be an alpha male, and it's like his job to be an alpha male, right?
Yeah.
But he's never struck me as overly masculine. He's just playing a part. Back to that idea of like it's theater for him.
Yeah.
Producer Britt, what's your takeaways here?
There's no real justice system. We just, this guy's kind of a repeat offender, but because of who he is and the financial backing behind him, he never really pays for his crimes. Like for rape, that's a pretty shallow sentence, I think. But
yeah,
and once again, we on this podcast do not advocate for like long prison sentences or like especially punitive, sentences in any way. But like, I don't know. It's just a multi-tiered, stratified justice system, and he's benefiting from it, which kind of sucks. And the fact that he's just so seamlessly like just like wandered back into public life, not cool.
And to be revered in public life,
to have a $20 million payday and advertising all over Netflix and the internet for your upcoming fight was it just this year or was it last year?
Last year in 24.
Yeah. That's like the maximum level of rehabilitation, and noted rapist is not something that you hear about as much in his jacket. So that's that, I guess.
Yes. So we can shut the door on that main event
and lock it behind us. I do want to move on to a library lockdown that I've got in the bag. All right. Since I read a good book.
Let's do it.
Library lockdown. Library lockdown. Come on in and take a look, 'cause it's time to review a book at Library Lockdown. Library Lockdown. Library Lockdown. Library Lockdown.
This week's Library Lockdown is the book Bad City by Paul Pringle, published in 2022. Paul Pringle is an LA Times journalist, and in this book, he details his investigation into University of Southern California Medical School Dean Carmen Puliafito, starting in 2016. And it's interesting. Carmen Puliafito, he did a lot of bad things. He was first caught at a hotel smoking methamphetamine with a girlfriend who was, I don't know, like 40 something years younger than him. And it turns out he had been bringing her drugs in rehabilitation multiple times, providing drugs to her and her friends, throwing parties at his house, throwing parties even at the medical school, at the School of Medicine, the Keck School of Medicine at USC. And this reporter, Paul Pringle, it's fascinating, where it's initially this story of Dr. Pugliafito and following him, and then it actually like backdoors into a discussion of journalistic ethics and how he's getting blocked along the way to publishing any of these stories about this guy who is like a public menace at the time, and how the guy is constantly protected by power, the power of Pasadena city government, the power of Pasadena PD, the power of administrators at USC and their relationship with people at the LA Times. And it's a really extraordinary book. I recommend this to anyone who is interested in this idea, like we were talking about earlier, of like power protecting power. It is really something else. And to see how it happens, even at the university level, was eye-opening in some respects. And I don't know why I love this. I love hearing about journalistic ethics and like how journalism should be checks on power, stuff like that. And when it actually gets applied in a context like this, where a guy is trying to make a public point about these checks on power.
That's exactly what, what journalism is supposed to be about, is letting us know what the hell's going on in this hidden world of anything, no matter what it is. But that's why we need journalists and good journalists, and for them to go in and find out what the hell's going on. Yeah. Yeah.
So there's not like very much prison related stuff in the book. Like he does talk to a handful of people who are in jail that are corroborating witnesses and even maybe accomplices at some point, but not a ton of prison stuff in there. But it is a good book for anyone interested in the field of criminal justice and journalism. 5 Soups, highly recommended.
Wow.
5 Soups. Wow.
5
boom.
Out of 5 Soups. Boom. Indeed. It is not that long. It's only like 230 pages, but it's like very well written, and I found it hard to put down.
Nice.
I'm impressed.
Now, speaking of soups, I think we should make a broth out of this podcast and add an ingredient. Eric, what ingredient would you add?
I'm going to start with a base, and let's get some ramen noodles in there of some type. Get something that's going to actually fill our stomachs up a little bit. So,
okay. And I'll add a sprinkle of a movie minute.
Movie minute. 60 seconds with producer Britt to talk about movies.
Hey, let's put the 60 seconds on the clock. So last time, one of you, I don't know, was it Judge Bronson?
It was Bronson.
Well, Judge Bronson.
Blame him.
Sentenced me to watch Prisoner's Daughter. So, Prisoner's Daughter is a 2022 film written by Mark Bauke and directed by Catherine Harwick, perhaps best known for directing the original Twilight movie.
Oh, no.
The story centers around Kate Beckinsale, a single mother with an addict baby daddy, a dead mother, and a father in prison. But her life is turned upside down when her aged father in prison, who's dying of cancer, played by Brian Cox from Succession, is released into her protective custody to help her make ends meet. We also have a colorful cast of characters such as Tyson Ritter, who plays an abusive ex-husband, and Ernie Hudson, who plays a boxing gym owner who owes Brian Cox a favor and some money. This was an all right film. It was pretty well acted, with a good core cast, including a really good performance by Christopher Convery as Ezra, which was one of the better child performances I've seen in a movie in a while. Also had a pretty fulfilling and kind of twist ending that I enjoyed. If I had any criticisms of the film, I'd say it was a little overlong with maybe 15 minutes that could have been tightened up, and there wasn't quite enough meat on the bone for a full, fulfilling story, I don't think. Still a fun redemption tale with an overall good vibe. I'm going to give it 2.5 out of 5 soups.
Not bad.
Hot dog.
Yeah.
How do you feel about Brian Cox as an actor?
I think it was really good. I I think.
I mean, just in general, not just this film, but how do you like him?
I think he's a fantastic actor. I didn't necessarily buy him as like the tough guy type it sold him as, because like looking at him on screen, he's always like 4 to 6 inches shorter than anyone else he's on camera with. So I'm like, they're trying to sell me like this like dude who's like 5'5" and old is like a tough guy, and I'm like, I don't know. It's the same thing with
when he played Hannibal Lecter. Same idea for me, right? Like in Manhunter.
Yeah, I thought that was a little different because he's like, he's more psychological, and I thought he was good in Manhunter. I really like Manhunter.
I like Manhunter all right. I didn't buy him as Hannibal Lecter very much, though.
Yeah, he's he's no Mads Mikkelsen, but no one is. So
no one is.
No one is.
No. All right. 2.5 soups, not bad.
Yeah, not bad.
2.5 soups.
What y'all got for me next time?
Now, let me ask you, how do you feel about seeing a movie in the theater?
No, because I don't know if I'm gonna have time before our next episode. So, all
right, I figured I'd put it out there because I want you to see one battle after another. All right, you have already seen Phantom of the Paradise, correct?
Yeah, I love that film.
Okay, I saw that last night. Okay,
my for their birthday party, my roommate dressed up as Beef from Phantom of the Paradise. Beef
rule. Beef was way better than Phoenix. Okay, you can edit all this out, but your sentence is to watch the 1987 film Extreme Prejudice, directed by Walter Hill and starring Powers Booth and Nick Nolte.
Oh, another Powers Booth film. All right.
Indeed, we bring Booth power to this podcast.
Yeah, definitely. That's where we're powered on Booth, baby.
Yeah, and let's see what you think.
Yeah.
With that, I think it's time we close the curtains and say nighty night.
Oh, we got
podcast.
We got to give one more shout out to our wonderful sponsor.
Who is it?
The Roger Williams University School of Justice Studies.
Oh yeah,
with our second favorite, master's degree being back. What is that, Britt?
Leadership.
That was weak compared to your usual. Like you didn't put any gusto behind it. Yeah, that's better. That's better.
There we go. That sounds like it. Be a leader. Use that voice.
I think that was beautiful. Now, thank you, Roger Williams University School of Justice Studies. Anything else to declare?
I declare that we need to throw that switch, damn it.
I think we do. I think it's time for the lights out.
Lights out.
Lights out.